If you're watching this video, you may be interested in either buying a home or selling your house. Every agent in North Carolina is required to present this brochure to anyone who explains to them their wants, needs, or desires for the purchase or sale of a home. It's called the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure. And if you are receiving one of these, all you have to do is sign it, saying that you have seen the information and you've been explained the information, and return it to the agent who gave it to you. That's it. All this brochure explains is the differences in the type of agency used in North Carolina. After you're presented and explained the information in this brochure, the agent that you're working with will present to you and have you sign an actual contractual agreement called a buyer's agency agreement or an exclusive right to sell listing agreement. This agreement is essentially what transitions you and the agent from a customer relationship to a client relationship. And here's what I mean by that. When someone is a client as opposed to being a customer, the agent becomes the fiduciary. When you hire an agent to work for you in real estate with the buyer's agency agreement or the exclusive right to sell listing agreement, you're essentially hiring them to work for you and be your fiduciary. I'm going to say fiduciary a lot here in the next couple minutes. When they are your fiduciary and they become your fiduciary, they owe you things called fiduciary duties as your fiduciary. The duties that they owe you are obedience. They're supposed to obey all of your lawful demands, be loyal to you as a client and a partner in the transaction, disclose all material facts to you about any property you see, keep all of your information confidential, keep account of all the monies that are dealt in the transaction, and use their reasonable skill, care, and diligence throughout every step of the process. Now, a little caveat to that. Even though confidentiality is only legally mandatory in a client relationship after you're hiring the agent as your fiduciary, you still may want to consider not revealing any information that you wouldn't want another party in a transaction to know until you've signed the agreement with the agent to make them your fiduciary and begin that client relationship. So now we're going to go over the different types of agency in North Carolina. Now that we've covered what it is to be in a client relationship with an agent. First of all is seller's agency. The job of a seller's agent is to help price the property, advertise and market your property, provide all of the property disclosure documents and other items for you to complete, negotiating for you the best possible terms of a contract that you may receive from a buyer, review all of the written offers with you immediately after they're received, and otherwise promoting all of your best interests at all times during your relationship. Seller's agents are paid via the commission that you agreed upon at the time you signed the listing agreement. On the other side of the transaction is a buyer's agent. A buyer's agent is responsible for advising you on the current state of the market at all times, helping you write offers, assisting with arranging financing, disclosing all material facts about every property that they show to you. Overall, promote your best interests as usual as part of being your fiduciary. And on top of all of that, the best part is you don't have to pay them any commissions. The seller pays all commissions to all agents. Lastly, we have dual agency. Dual agency is where the firm and the agents of the firm represent both sides of the transaction. That could be in any scenario from I have a listing as your agent, but I'm also representing you as a buyer, and you as the buyer are interested in purchasing the listing that I have with my seller client. If you would like, I can represent both you and my seller in that transaction, or if you would not like that, we could use what's called designated dual agency, where my firm will appoint someone, another agent, to represent you in the transaction, since I already represent the seller. For you, the biggest perk of dual agency is that you get to see the largest pool of available homes that are on the market without there being any discrepancy of who is representing who. I hope that makes sense. The very last type of agency is called sub-agency. A lot of firms don't allow sub-agency, but I'll go ahead and explain it anyway, since some firms do. Sub-agency, otherwise called seller sub-agency, is a buyer's agent working with a seller. And this is what I mean. It's usually used when you have an unwritten agreement, but the buyer's agent still wants to earn a commission. Let's say you're a buyer and I'm your agent. We have an unwritten agreement that I'm going to help you purchase a home. But in North Carolina, I cannot earn a commission if I'm not representing a buyer in writing via a buyer agency agreement. If we don't have a written buyer agency agreement, I cannot legally accept commissions for the work that I do. So in that case, I would go to the seller's firm and ask if I could become a seller sub-agent, where I still earn my commission, but instead I represent the seller's interests rather than yours. And like I said, because of that, can be a lot of sticky situations. And in a sub-agency relationship, if you don't sign a buyer agency agreement with an agent, they're not obligated to keep your information confidential, which is why they're such a good tool. Most firms don't allow sub-agency for that very reason and require that all clients have an agency agreement signed. And that's pretty much it. Just to wrap everything up and tie everything up with a bow, remember, make sure you sign the brochure. After you read the entire brochure, it's right there at the back. Your agent's information goes right here, and your information goes right here. All you're doing is you're signing saying that you received the information and it was explained to you. It's not a contract. I repeat, it's not a contract. So there's nothing to worry about. It's just informational. Make sure you always talk to your agent if you have any questions about the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure, or if you have any questions from me, you can ask them in the comments below. That being said, if you feel like this information could be useful to someone else that you know, feel free to share the video. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.